sauce, as they call it in the Big Apple. I am an extremely big proponent of making your own sauce. It's the kind of thing that seems like too much work when there are perfectly fine sauces available at the store. But once you get the hang of it and integrate sauce making into your routine, you will never go back. Once you go sauce, you will be the boss. I love to make sauce because I feel like a lot of my cooking is very pragmatic, very utilitarian, and sauce is where I can be a bit more creative. I love to come up with different combinations and then eat them. So I am going to tell you how to do that in the manner of a formula. 2 formulas, in fact, dressings and pan sauces. And at the end, we are going to use what we have learned to spruce up a store-bought sauce, should you have a disappointing one sitting in your fridge. Okay, dressings. This is the category of sauce that you can prep beforehand. If you're someone who prefers to cook things fresh in the moment, the pan sauce category will likely be more your journey. What you need to begin is a base. Base options: Greek yogurt, regular yogurt, tahini, a nut butter, mayo, any oil. I'm prepping a lunch and a dinner dressing this week. The lunch one is for a big salad. The dinner one is for a big bowl of bowl food. Couscous, tempeh, chickpeas, cauliflower, kale. You know the deal. I am using Greek yogurt, the sour cream of yogurt. I'm trying to learn to like it, and I currently like it when I mix a bunch of other stuff in it and I can't taste it. So I got my base. Next up is acid. Pungent liquid, something to give your sauce some pop. You can use any of the typical salad vinegars, but I personally am a bit bored by a vinaigrette. So you can broaden your definition of acid. If you have a jar of a briny food, the liquid in that jar can go in your sauce. I am putting banana peppers in my salad this week, so I use the brine from the pepper jar in the dressing. And in the dinner dressing, I have added lemon juice and mustard. So don't limit yourself. Any kind of vinegar, the juice of any citrus fruit, the brine from your kimchi or sauerkraut or olives. If it's pungent, you will want it. Okay, we have a base, we have an acid. It's like we are in chemistry class. Next, we get creative. We have now reached the vegetable and herb zone. Sauce is just stuff blended into other stuff. If you can put it in a blender, you can put it in a dressing. Just about any herb will work here, as well as any vegetable that does not become texturally challenging when you put it in a blender. Like, I don't think a roasted Brussels sprout would blend up very well, but a roasted red pepper, my God. In my lunch dressing, I blended up roasted red pepper and roasted garlic with water, and in my dinner dressing, I blended up a roasted poblano pepper and basil. You could dump that straight into your base and whisk her on up. The final element is to season. Salt is mandatory. The rest is up to you. But I would highly recommend an umami element. Miso, Parmesan, nutritional yeast, liquid smoke, a spoonful of better than bouillon. You could grate in some onion and some garlic. This is also a great place to add something spicy if you would like it to be spicy. Chili crisp, harissa, some good old-fashioned hot sauce. A sauce within a sauce. In my lunch dressing, I just did salt, pepper, and nutritional yeast, which is generally my go-to. Nutritional yeast is also a great thickener if you have found yourself with a dressing that is a bit too thin. And then in my dinner dressing, I did salt, pepper, nutritional yeast, a big glob of miso, and smoked paprika. And those were my dressings for the whole week. Here's the lunch salad in action. Wow, a big salad with a spicy Gardein chicken patty for summer. Groundbreaking. And my little dinner bowl of bowl food. Love her. Another reason I love to make sauce is that these are 2 base meals that I make all the time, but I am not bored of them because every week I can just change out the sauce. I gotta keep things interesting around here. Before we get to pan sauce, I have one more thing to show you. You can also use the formula to throw together something on the fly. I had a leftover chunk of cashew za'atar spread from my BLTs last week. I had some leftover stew juices from the sago wat that I made last week, and I whisked those 2 things together with lemon juice and nutritional yeast. And I put it on the leftover slop plate that I made with all the other leftovers that I had from last week. And it was great. You don't have to make a giant batch. Part 2, pan sauce. Advance warning that if you are French or you are a more serious cook than me, this section might annoy you. The French have what are called the 5 mother sauces. And this little choose your own adventure pan sauce is like a bastardization of a couple of them. So if you feel tempted to say, you're doing it wrong, just know that I don't care what I'm doing, or if the French approve of it, as long as it tastes good. And it does. And with that said, we are going to start with something French. A pan sauce is, as the name implies, a sauce made in the pan. This is typically not something you prep beforehand. This is something you are making as you go. I am making a pasta dish. I have a shallot, some mushrooms, and some Beyond Italian sausage in the pan. My pasta mix-ins, I'm cooking them up in some olive oil. Once they're done cooking, I'm going to take them out of the pan, but leave the leftover oil. The oil has taken on the flavor of all of those things you were just cooking in it, so we don't want to waste it. If you are cooking meat, you're going to have more flavorful fat left behind. If you're not, you might want to add some more butter here. That is what I did. Into your flavorful fat, you are going to mix in a spoonful of flour and cook it over low heat. This is your roux, R-O-U-X. It is indeed French, and it is the base of your pan sauce. It's the Greek yogurt of over here. Once you have a nice smooth roux, the next step is to add a liquid. This is called deglazing. Your roux and all the other stuff you were cooking in the pan is gonna get a little crusty on the bottom. When you add a liquid, it deglazes the pan, gets all that crusty goodness off, and mixes it into your sauce. Any flavorful liquid or mix of flavorful liquids will do here. Red wine, white wine, stock, pasta water, splash her in, scrape up your flavor crust, and let her simmer for a while to thicken back up. I deglazed my pan here with red wine and pasta water. If you are deglazing with alcohol, put the heat on low and turn the fan on. Please do not set your face on fire. Thank you. And while it's simmering, you can also do the blending in a vegetable and an herb step over here. It's another excellent use of the remains of that box of spinach that you were going to let go bad and then feel a little guilty about it. Just wilt it, blend it with some pasta water, and dump it straight in. I am so sorry to say that you have to wilt it in another pan and do one more dish, but it's worth it. You don't have to blend something else in. You already have a pan sauce in your pan, but it is a fun way to be creative and use your leftovers in one fell swoop. Once she has simmered, at the end you want to throw in your final seasonings and then toss your pasta in it. If your sauce is a little too watery, the starch from the pasta will help thicken it up, and that is a pan sauce. Say it with me. Roux, deglaze. Add a vegetable or an herb if you want. Simmer, season, toss. That is pan sauce. And now finally, we are going to use what we have learned to spruce up a store-bought sauce. You have a jar of tomato sauce. It doesn't really taste like much. Let's make it taste like something. Where do we start? We start with a roux. Deglaze it with a flavorful liquid, and then dump your jar sauce in. Now your layer of jar sauce has a little something else going on. A little oomph. You can stop there, but you don't have to. I had this whole little cute thing planned where I was going to be like, maybe you noticed that I deglazed it with vodka. That's because I want to make vodka sauce. I am stupid and forgot to turn the camera on while I was doing that. I forgot to turn it on while I was doing all of this, so I'm just going to describe it to you and you're just going to have to believe me. So after I deglazed it with vodka, I added tomato paste, a hunk of miso. You could just do Parmesan if you are a dairy-eating individual. And I blended silken tofu into a cream. Added a little more salt, added a little more garlic, and suddenly my sad jar of tomato sauce is a pretty good vodka sauce. Jar sauce is yet another neutral base for you to play with. Isn't that fun? Okay, that's how to make sauce. I would love to hear about your sauces. Please tell me about them. I'm always looking for new and fun and interesting things to put on my big salad. Also, if you have any cooking video requests, please request them. I'm thinking about doing one on plant-based protein, but maybe you don't care about that. I would like to be of use while you're all here, so please tell me how to be. And in the meantime, I will be off writing another pretentious art video because that's what my heart truly desires. Okay, bye.